Thank you very much for the invitation to be able to share a few insights from the African Climate Foundation at your auspicious event, the on the Africa Political Outlook. I think this meeting in general is a very important gathering, uh, precisely because we are entering in an era in which there is a lot of uncertainty, and all of us are trying to grapple with the nature of this uncertainty and what it means for Africa. First, I want to say that the African Climate Foundation is a philanthropic foundation. It's a pool fund that is based in Africa, although the head office is in Cape Town, particularly the operations center. We operate in several countries across the continent, covering issues such as energy transitions, agriculture, adaptation and resilience. The work on green industrial development and critical minerals is very new and will be rapidly evolving in the next year. The foundation itself is keen on unlocking new investments on the continent, which talks to some of the issues that you are going to have a conversation about at this event in Brussels. But also just to mention, I also want to offer my apologies for not being able to come to the meeting. February is a very busy month, largely because we have a lot of visitors arriving around the Mining Indaba, which is a global event in South Africa, where various players from industry, civil society, think tanks, and others gather annually to discuss not only global developments, but also the place of the mineral sector within the global economy, and particularly in this era. So you can see from the situation globally that where all the conflicts are, one of the key things that stands out is the place of critical minerals or special types of minerals that are crucial for artificial intelligence, the military, and green industries are topmost issues in the world. And they don't only describe the question of demand for these minerals, but also, more importantly, the unfolding geopolitics around these minerals. This puts out a very important question, the place of Africa. Most reports point to that Africa has 30% of the most important minerals, which are essential for not only old industries, but also rapidly growing new industries that I just mentioned earlier. And it is an area that the African Climate Foundation has been seeking to understand over the last 2 to 3 years. In fact, we have a very well-developed program. And as I pointed out, one of the key things that we'd like to do in our work is not only understand through our diplomacy and international partnerships work the playing field of global geopolitics and geoeconomics, in particularly how that is in effect not imposing but manifesting itself in relationship to what is being demanded from various countries on the continent, where you have some of the most important critical minerals. Countries such as the Congo, Zambia, a number of places in West Africa, East Africa, and also Southern Africa are important geographic domains for this. We have evolved as a foundation an approach to climate issues that tries to ensure that the problems of the past, such as high dependence on commodities, you may call it the resource curse, or other types of problems associated with boom and bust cycles of commodity trade, that we find coordinated approaches across the continent. And this is the point of the establishment of the Green Mineral Support Facility, is to look at ways in which we may be able to provide uh, based on demand from governments and other actors in various economies where they are seeing growth in demand for um, critical minerals, but either to expand existing mines or to invest in new ones, that we are able to enhance the capacities of these countries to effectively negotiate better deals and to ensure that these problems of the past of resource dependency, that we are able to create a runway or a roadmap to new kinds of investments. And we believe that there are enormous opportunities in the climate space if we took a more investor-orientated approach to look at how to unlock climate finance and other types of finance at much lower costs, hopefully, that can be linked to a very important investment drive in the energy sector, agriculture, or other sectors that can then have cross linkages, potentially uh, with beneficiation to the mining sector, but also opening up the doors for new types of green industries and services, thus expanding the scope of these economies to become more diversified. Um, I think that in most of the world, the current geopolitical order is read as being not only just about uncertainty, but unfolding new kinds of risk. Uh, that is true, and African statecraft is going to be challenged in that we have to develop the capacities for either not only understanding this unfolding uh, what people call a new world order, and we are still to see in which direction that is going to go, uh, but also the assessment of both opportunities and risk, and being able to define very clear pathways for these countries to be able to find new investment opportunities. And I'm putting emphasis on investment opportunities largely because we have to recognize the age of certainty around aid and other forms of international assistance, and in particular in the climate space, is dwindling and diminishing. And so we're going to have to rely on creating opportunities ourselves. And one way to do that is to use these kinds of ideas around country investment platform, country-owned platforms, or to profile investment opportunities and be able to unlock sources of finance, both domestically and outside of the continent, or even regionally, uh, in order to begin this journey of in less investment-led growth and development, and not aid-dependent forms of growth and development. And I think that's the orientation that we see emerging and hold very interesting prospects for the continent as we go forward. This demands also that, which is my last point that I want to make, that for this to succeed, I mentioned the point about statecraft, the improvement and enhancing of national level statecraft and diplomacy, but also at the regional level, both in terms of abilities to engage in African soft power, with our main trade partners in the Middle East, China, Europe, and also the US. And secondly, being able to then use the investment-led type of approach to uh, have a little bit more what I would call harder and realist forms of diplomacy, because these are about negotiating beneficial economic outcomes for countries and the continent as a whole. This level of engagement is becoming more of a priority now, given that most of the world is basically saying, uh, we are in a disruptive world order. Most of us have to kind of fend for themselves. You see this now in the last 2 months, and there might be out of this, based on the speeches that were given at the World Economic Forum, there might be room for minilateral types of coalition engagements and coalitions that form around issue-based interest. And Africa has to also look at sort of minilateral forms of engagement, uh, perhaps smaller groups of countries negotiating with counterparts on issue-based um, interest in order to further uh, not only national interests, but also sub-regional and regional interests. And I hope that we do not see the changes in the global order in too much negative light, but also see potential positive opportunities that the disruption and the tensions and the rivalry will throw up, that if we organize ourselves well around statecraft, cooperation with fellow African countries, and take a, a different kind of approach to traditional forms of engagement with our trade and geo-economic partners, we could ride the wave and come out at the end with our interest in Africa much more solidified, and bring out beneficial outcomes that perhaps the past opportunities have not allowed us to do. So I would like to leave that few remarks with you, and wish you success in your deliberations, and look forward to the final conference report and further engagements with your institution and forum. Thank you very much.